While certain American city blocks radiate vitality and promise, they also conceal depths of misery so intense they inspire dread. The tragedy of being homeless in America isn't simply about missing housing, but a tangled maze of destitution, substance abuse, and institutional collapses. In this footage, we explore the 10 most dangerous spots where displaced residents endure horrific environments forged by violence, abandonment, and the lethal surge of fentanyl. These neighborhoods, frequently ignored, require our focus to grasp the scale of this cultural struggle and the critical requirement for remedies. Summary of the displaced in the States. The plight of being homeless in America exposes the profound fractures within our nation's social framework. During a typical evening, about 580,000 citizens reside without stable housing per the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's recent figures through 2023. This disaster centers in thriving metropolises like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York locations flush with capital but burdened by an expanding gap. Exorbitant leases, frozen earnings, and a severe lack of psychiatric help drive numerous people toward the brink. How come these lively centers overflowing with prospects neglect to house their residents?
It is. The rent is too high. It's even going up in even these rooming houses, and people are using drugs to escape. And the drug use is making you come out here more. You don't pay your rent. You're not working enough, and that's part of contributing to the problem.
What compels a person to withstand the brutal truths of sidewalk living? The causes are profound. Escalating property rates bar those already flailing, while low-cost alternatives disappear. Psychological struggles frequently ignored because of erratic entry to treatment descend into hopelessness. Dependency, particularly on fentanyl, a narcotic ripping through neighborhoods, holds many caught in a cruel loop of addiction. These elements don't merely take away residences, they foster chaos, transforming specific city streets into realms of felony grime and terror. How does a country so wealthy in assets permit such agony to rot? The regions we'll examine aren't merely hazardous for those staying there. They evaluate our shared morality. Settlements defined by shelters, plastics, and hopelessness show more than personal hardships. They represent institutional collapses. Lawlessness flourishes where optimism dies and filthy environments worsen the heartache. These flashpoints from Skid Row to Kensington dare us to see past the statistics. What is revealed about us since we witness these sights hourly, but remedies stay far away. The state of being homeless in America isn't merely a legislative matter. It's an ethical one, pushing us to face the injustices that desert so many, and to wonder how we might restore a method that actually helps everyone. Standards for recognizing the most hazardous sites. To identify the most treacherous nomadic settlements regarding being homeless in America, we use distinct expressive markers that disclose the intensity of this disaster. Initially, we examine the concentration of the unsheltered demographic. In hubs like Los Angeles and Philadelphia, multitudes huddle into improvised colonies, shelters and covers draped over walkways or empty plots. These jammed environments leave individuals susceptible to climate sickness and brutality. Bad hygiene, limited fresh water, and vulnerability to bleak elements transform everyday existence into a punishing battle for endurance. How can such teeming, abandoned zones endure in the center of prosperous towns? Lawlessness represents another crucial component. Great frequencies of assault robbery and narcotic-linked crimes generate an aura of dread impacting both the displaced and local neighbors. Fentanyl, a fatal opioid driving fatalities coast to coast, increases these hazards, as we'll investigate shortly. Its arrival in settlements magnifies peril, converting defenseless areas into epicenters of hopelessness. Why do these regions turn into spawning grounds for felony and habit, and what is revealed regarding our preferences? The wider cultural influence also counts. These spots frequently grab front-page news or feature in state dossiers, emphasizing their gravity. They drain neighborhood assets, discourage visitors, and test communal security, manifesting institutional lapses in managing being homeless in America. By concentrating on resident volume survival environments, felony and societal effects, we showcase zones where disregard is most obvious. These benchmarks don't merely outline threat, they reveal holes in our communal structure. What is required for the public to face these collapses and provide genuine remedies? Our analysis seeks to clarify these failing sectors, pushing us to see past data to the personal price of passivity. The influence of fentanyl on displaced neighborhoods. Fentanyl is devastating the lives of those being homeless in America, transforming bleak existences into fatal battles. This lab-made narcotic, 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, claimed over 70,000 lives in 2021 per CDC reports, and the count has surely climbed. Inexpensive and easily obtained, it's a heartless bait for folks on pavements, where entry to medical clinics or recovery aid feels like fantasy. For the unhoused, fentanyl isn't merely a narcotic, it's a shackle trapping them within a loop of hopelessness. How can we watch while this toxin firms its hold on the most defenseless? Why does fentanyl strike these populations so severely? Its cheap price and simple procurement offer a fast flight from the agony of outdoor living. In spots like Kensington in Philadelphia or Skid Row in Los Angeles, public narcotic bazaars flourish with fentanyl frequently blended into different powders, raising the chance of lethal poisonings.
Oh, that is a crazy feeling, and it's not a fun feeling at all. When you wake up, you get very sick, because it sucks all the drugs out of you, so you have nothing.
The results are bleak, skyrocketing fatalities, narcotic-induced brawls, and lawlessness that shakes every person around. Thrust-aside syringes litter walkways, making these zones into sanitary threats and sparking turmoil. What is revealed about us since we permit whole districts to turn into war zones of dependency? Specific regions carry the brunt of this disaster. Kensington somberly labeled the fentanyl epicenter of the states is filled with humans flailing in states no person must suffer. Skid Row witnesses fentanyl triggering fatalities and aggressive skirmishes, while San Francisco's Tenderloin is ruined by public narcotic consumption that repels locals and tourists. These locations, already weighed down by being homeless in America, are shoved deeper into misery by fentanyl's reach. How can we ignore when these groups are sinking in grief right in our view? Solving this isn't merely about arresting traffickers. Displaced individuals require genuine assistance cleansing schedules, protected usage centers, and psychiatric care, yet these remain either rare or knotted in red tape. Shelter medicine and habit therapy must function in unison to snap this loop. If we neglect to respond, these settlements shall continue declining, dragging everyone under. Can we really describe ourselves as a sympathetic culture when citizens are expiring quietly on our pavement, ignored and unassisted? The 10 most perilous homeless settlements. The catastrophe of being homeless in America appears most clearly in certain city sectors where hopelessness, abandonment, and threat unite. These spots, defined by thick clusters of unhoused people, awful survival states, and the constant grip of fentanyl, represent the country's battle to fix institutional imbalances. Underneath, we examine the 10 most hazardous homeless colonies, each a small-scale version of wider communal lapses. These regions are not just data, but personal disasters requiring our thought and movement. As we study each, ponder this: what might a country perform when its most defenseless are kept to survive alone in such treacherous states? Skid Row, Los Angeles, California. Located in the center of Los Angeles, Skid Row covers about 50 urban blocks housing thousands of displaced people. This packed settlement, one of the biggest in the land, is a sprawling labyrinth of tense plastics and makeshift homes. The states here are horrific. Walkways are filled with trash, hygiene is basically absent, and the breeze holds the burden of misery. Fentanyl has increased its hold on Skid Row, sparking poisoning fatalities and aggressive brawls linked to narcotic sales. Felony levels, including battery and theft, climb, forming a setting where protection is a rarity. Climbing property prices and scarce housing choices in Los Angeles prolong this disaster despite occasional attempts to offer help and assistance. The inquiry stays: how might a town of such riches permit Skid Row to endure as a brand of disregard? Tenderloin, San Francisco, California. San Francisco's Tenderloin neighborhood, situated among digital wealth, is a bleak contrast of destitution. Multitudes of unhoused people huddle its walkways, staying in shelters encircled by syringes and grime. Fentanyl's abundance sparks outdoor narcotic markets, fostering brutality and chaos. High felony levels, including muggings and batteries, form a risky mood for everyone. The town's pricey property market and scarce housing choices fuel this gathering, while tries at narcotic rescue and shelter programs struggle to grow. Tenderloin's turmoil manifests a failure to connect fiscal triumph with social fairness. Local tries to fix dependency and displacement meet opposition, highlighting the requirement for brave institutional fixes to return pride and protection. Downtown Seattle, Washington. Central Seattle, especially near Occidental Park, contains spreading settlements and gardens and pathways. Thousands of unhoused people endure soggy environments with minimal entry to nutrition or sanitation. Fentanyl's reach has increased fatalities and narcotic-linked felonies, throwing a cloud of dread over the region. Seattle's property lack, regardless of its liberal spirit, crushes city rules, keeping many vulnerable. Small cabin projects provide flashes of optimism, but miss the requirement. Public protection worries fight with pleas for mercy, forming friction. The endurance of these sites emphasizes the task of matching charitable goals with capable leadership, prompting a review of how towns can defend their most defenseless folks. Kensington, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kensington, called the fentanyl heart of the states, is a horrific center of habit in North Philadelphia. Multitudes of unhoused people occupy deserted spaces and bridge tunnels surrounded by needle-covered pathways. Fentanyl's power fuels public narcotic trade and aggressive turf brawls, making daily existence risky. Indigence and rare social aid worsen the disaster while damage lessening tries battle against the plague's magnitude. The district's filth and threat manifest a failure to fix addiction's basic origins. Neighborhood projects meet funding gaps, keeping Kensington's folks caught in a loop of misery. This harsh truth calls for fast spending in shelter and care to save lives from the hold of habit and abandonment. The Bowery, New York City, New York. In Lower Manhattan, the Bowery stays a brand of being homeless in America regardless of partial renewal. Unsheltered folks gather in gardens and on walkways, particularly after sunset, meeting increased hazards. Fentanyl's climb has sparked minor felony and medical crises, adding to the region's tasks. New York's massive leases and tax shelters shove folks to the streets where chilly seasons and human perils loom. Help programs and shelter projects exhibit advancement, but cannot stay current. The Bowery's battles reveal the town's weakness to fully fix its property disaster. Fresh tries are needed to ensure protection and balance, telling us that city growth must encompass those kept behind. Venice Beach, Los Angeles, California. Venice Beach, a noted travel center, hides a bleak truth along its walkway. Multitudes of unhoused people stay in shelters and ruined campers dwarfed by nearby estates. Fentanyl's wave has increased frictions with narcotic-linked fights, sparking periodic brutality. The region's soft climate lures the displaced, but bad hygiene and rising felony spoil its appeal. Scarce housing choices and high survival prices prolong the disaster, while cleaning tries frequently move rather than fix. Venice's sharp gaps dare the neighborhood to weigh travel with mercy. Lasting shelter and habit aid are vital to returning protection and pride to this famed coast. Downtown Portland, Oregon. Portland's Old Town Chinatown and nearby Washington Park contain large settlements, with multitudes staying in shelters amid city ruin. Fentanyl's abundance fuels poisonings and felony, forming a tense setting. The town's property disaster and lenient camping rules have grown visible displacement, taxing public assets. Sanitary troubles and protection worries fuel local turmoil, causing pleas for harder rules. Portland's battle emphasizes the friction between liberal beliefs and city calm. Projects like crisis shelters provide optimism but lack magnitude. Fixing this disaster needs brave spending in property and habit care, ensuring that mercy turns into real fixes for the town's most defenseless. South Bronx, New York City, New York. The South Bronx, New York's poorest district, houses unhoused people in ruined structures and on frozen pathways. Fentanyl's reach fuels habit and felony, worsening the region's pains. Bitter winters and rare shelters leave many vulnerable to peril. Constant indigence and low-funded aid prolong this loop regardless of periodic help tries. The South Bronx's state highlights how fiscal gaps drive being homeless in America. Local protection and medical crises call for fast movement, yet fixes stay missing. Spending in cheap property and habit aid is vital to snap this loop, providing a way to balance for those caught in one of the town's most tested regions. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque's gardens and bridges house multitudes of unhoused people in shelters and makeshift sites. Fentanyl's climb has caused poisonings and aggressive brawls, including aimed battery on the displaced. Scarce housing volume and fiscal hardship drive this disaster, keeping many without sanctuary. Neighborhood tries to offer aid meet constant underfunding, worsening risky states. Albuquerque's tasks highlight how asset lack fuels city misery. Fixing this needs favoring housing growth and habit care to return protection. The town settlements act as a plea to rethink city rules, ensuring that the most defenseless are not kept to survive alone in a harsh setting. Miami, Florida. Miami Center, particularly beneath its bridges, contains settlements where multitudes endure heavy warmth and trash. Fentanyl's presence fuels narcotic-linked felony, making the region risky for all. High survival prices and scarce housing worsen the disaster, while cleaning tries frequently toss folks without fixes. Miami State reveals the fight between city expansion and human lack. Local projects battle against institutional walls, keeping the displaced vulnerable to peril. Fixing this calls for spending in property and habit aid to return balance. Miami settlements dare us to favor mercy over removal, ensuring that city advancement includes those staying in the shadows of its shining towers. Wider consequences and contemplations. The 10 settlements, ranging from Skid Row's massive shelters to Miami's bridge sanctuaries, are linked by shared themes, pricey property, insufficient community aid, and the lethal reach of fentanyl. Every site acts as a sharp mirror of the global plight of being homeless in America, where institutional defects keep people susceptible to brutality, habit, and hopelessness. These zones are not detached. Their struggles spread outward, impacting complete neighborhoods. Failing communal protection tax city assets and diminished draw for travel or capital are noticeable results, emphasizing the necessity of fixing this matter. The fentanyl plague specifically has magnified the perils. Its cheap price and strength drive dependency in spots like Kensington and Tenderloin, converting unstable colonies into war zones of endurance. Poisoning fatalities, narcotic-linked felony, and tossed-aside syringes increase the feeling of chaos, making these regions risky for both the displaced and locals. The inquiry hangs: what is needed to break this loop of agony? Encouraging methods like housing first, which favors stable residency, provide optimism but require significant capital. Dependency care, especially regarding fentanyl, needs reachable purging programs and damage reduction plans such as monitored usage zones, yet these meet partisan opposition. Psychiatric help paths are just as vital, since unmanaged ailments frequently push people to the pavements. Yet growing these remedies meets fiscal walls and local rejection, with many resisting housing or therapy hubs in their districts. The endurance of these sites is a grave summons to movement. A culture's ethical direction is shown by how it supports its most defenseless. To advance, we must fund low-cost property, grow habit and psychological aid, and face the fentanyl disaster directly. These sites are not merely zones of misery, but openings for transition, pushing us to reconsider our goals and move with mercy to restore existences and towns. 6. Closing remarks. The 10 settlements described within are not merely hazardous, they are indicators of a profound illness in America's communal structure. From the fentanyl-stricken avenues of Kensington to the shelter-covered walkways of Skid Row, these regions manifest a neglect to supply fundamental human needs, housing security, and optimism. Managing being homeless in America necessitates more than fleeting remedies. It calls for a dedication to structural shifts, low-cost property, strong recovery therapy, and psychological aid. As observers, you are encouraged to consider these locations not as remote issues, but as communal obligations. Participate in regional projects, push for legislative change, and acknowledge that within every shelter resides a personal tale. Just through unified effort might we start to mend these injuries.